a thought that wouldn't let me go. At my age, mornings are quieter than they used to be. No rushing, no deadlines, just the sound of the coffee maker, the hum of the refrigerator, and my own thoughts keeping me company. And lately, one thought has been returning to me again and again. Not about money, not about success, but about what I spent my life chasing and what I didn't notice slipping away. I didn't always think this way. In fact, for most of my life, I believed money was the answer to everything. I was wrong, and it took me almost a lifetime to understand that. Part 1, when money meant safety. I grew up in a house where money was always tight. Not dangerously so, but enough that you felt it. Enough that you noticed the silence when bills arrived. Enough that you learned early not to ask for much. So when I became an adult, I made myself a promise. I would never feel that way again. I worked harder than anyone I knew. Long hours, missed weekends, holidays spent at the office instead of the dinner table. Every promotion felt like relief. Every raise felt like protection. I told myself I was doing it for my family, for our future, for peace of mind, and for a long time that explanation satisfied me. Part 2, the quiet costs. Success came slowly then all at once. A better house, a newer car, vacations we could finally afford. From the outside, my life looked like a success story, but inside the house, something else was happening. Dinners were quieter. My kids stopped asking if I'd be home early. My wife learned to make decisions without me. I noticed it, but I didn't stop. I told myself this is just a phase. Once I reached the next level, things would slow down. They never did. And then one night, something small happened. Something I almost ignored. Almost. Part 3. The question I didn't answer. It was late. Later than usual. I walked through the front door, briefcase in hand, mind still at work. My daughter was sitting at the kitchen table. She couldn't have been more than 10. She looked up at me and asked, "Are you coming to my recital tomorrow?" I hesitated, just for a second, but children notice seconds. "I'll try," I said. She nodded, but her eyes told me she already knew the answer. The next day, I didn't make it. I told myself there would be another recital, another chance. I didn't realize how fast another chance disappears. Part 4. Years move faster than we think. Time has a strange way of speeding up when you're not paying attention. One day your kids need you to tie their shoes. The next, they're packing boxes for college. I kept working, kept earning, kept believing I was doing the right thing. And then the house grew quieter. No backpacks by the door. No voices down the hallway. Just more space and more silence. That's when the questions started. Not loud ones. Quiet ones. Was it worth it? Did I trade something I can't get back? But I pushed those thoughts aside until life forced me to stop. Part 5, the day everything paused. It was an ordinary afternoon when my doctor said the words that changed my pace forever. "Let's run a few more tests." He didn't look alarmed, but he didn't look relaxed either. Suddenly, work emails didn't matter. Deadlines felt meaningless. All I could think about was time, how much I had left, and how I had used the time I'd already spent. That night, I sat alone in my living room, lights off, listening to the clock on the wall. Tick, tick, tick. Money couldn't slow it down. Money couldn't buy back years. That was the first crack in the belief I had carried my whole life. Part 6, an unexpected visit. A few days later, my son stopped by. No announcement, no special reason. He just sat with me on the porch. We talked about ordinary things, weather, work, nothing important, and yet it was everything. Before he left, he said something I'll never forget. "Dad, I'm glad you're home more now." He didn't say it with anger or regret, just honesty. And in that moment, I understood something I wish I had learned sooner. Part 7. What money can't replace. Money can build a house, but it can't make it feel warm. Money can pay for vacations, but it can't slow time enough to enjoy them. Money can provide comfort, but it cannot replace presence. What my family wanted wasn't more. They wanted me, not someday, not after the next promotion. Now, Part 8, the lesson that took a lifetime. I'm not saying money doesn't matter. It does. It keeps the lights on. It eases worries, but it was never meant to be the center of a life. At my age, I finally understand that what matters most can't be earned, saved, or invested. It has to be given. Time, attention, being there fully. Epilogue if you're still chasing. If you're listening to this and you're still in the middle of the race, I won't tell you what to do. Life teaches us all in its own time. I'll only say this. Don't wait until the house is quiet. Don't wait until the clock feels louder than your thoughts. Because one day you may realize, like I did, that what mattered most was never money at all.